So Tom's calling from Michigan. Tom's a theist, pronouns are he, and wants to talk about the Anthropocene period through a theist lens. Wow, you probably picked the wrong day to call, but welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, you'd probably be better off talking to Forrest or Erica, but go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. And thank you for your honesty in saying I probably called on the wrong day. I've talked with Forrest before, and he's been very honest in his knowledge of science. I can always call back later if that's better.
Well, I mean, we can try to address it, but I'm just, if the whole issue is we're looking at a period through a theist lens, I guess I would wonder, why should we look at it through a theistic lens until there's a demonstration that the theistic lens is more likely to lead us to truth?
Fair enough. My simple answer to that is I believe in creation, or I think there's a supreme being that created people. And my understanding of science.
I'm sorry. If I believe that I was crafted in a lab by an alien race, should I take my belief and look at the Anthropocene through that lens? Is that a valuable way of doing it?
I think we're splitting hairs. I think we're dancing around terminology.
I think I'm asking questions that lead to clarification, and because they are difficult to answer, because you have beliefs and a preference toward favoring them, you want to say I'm splitting hairs. But what I really did was create a position that is directly analogous to yours. You have a theistic belief, and you're going to look at things through that lens. If I have I was created in a lab by aliens belief, and I want to look at the world through that lens, which of those two, if either or neither, should we be using to view the world?
Well, I think we need to reach an agreement, and I'm trying to suspend my biases, and I want to talk to other people and get other ideas and see if my ideas are valid.
Okay, so far they're not, but go ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to put aside my bias and talk about science and evolution and a period in time when human beings, Homo sapiens, were separate from other primates.
Okay. Continue.
I'm not sure I understand the value of this conversation, because if it's just you explaining to us how you've been able to reconcile the Anthropocene period and theism, I'm not interested. I'm more interested in, why are you a theist? Why do you have to see this through that lens? Why is that the lens that you're looking through this?
Because it makes sense to me.
Okay.
What makes sense to you? That there's a God?
Can you explain it so it makes sense to us?
I heard two questions and I don't know what to do.
That's fair. Go ahead, Promise.
No, I like Matt's question. Matt.
Okay. So can you explain it in a way that makes sense to us?
There is circular reasoning when I talk to atheists. When I talk to an atheist, hang on, let me finish, please.
No, answer my question, please. I'm specifically here. I'm going to mute you, Tom. This is a live call-in show. I'm trying to guide a conversation so that all of us can reach clarity and understanding. And so when you say something and I say, I'm unclear about that, I'm interrupting now so that we don't get 2 minutes into your thing and I make you go all the way back to the beginning. I've done this for 20 years. This works better than letting you preach a sermon and then start calling out things. So when you're in discussions with atheists, there's circular reasoning. all I was asking is on your part or their part, because you might be calling in to justify your circular reasoning or to object to atheist circular reasoning. And I need to know what to think about in order to better understand what you're saying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. So did you mean circular reasoning on your part or theirs?
Theirs.
Okay, continue, please.
There's a presupposition on my part that God exists. And the atheists respond by saying, who created God?
Okay.
And I can't answer that.
We are not saying that. And
can you talk to us instead of this conversation that you've already had with other atheists?
Some of them are really bad at this.
Okay, so can you just tell us why you believe in a God?
I answered this on another call, and I'm trying to make it very simple.
Okay, Tom.
Because
by my standards,
stop.
By my standards,
I'm going to mute you, and I need you to listen. Promise and I aren't other atheists. We are not here to make excuses for them or explain how they may have got shit wrong. There's plenty of atheists that are absolutely fucking garbage at arguing and reasoning. Tons of them. Also, Promise and I may not have been on any of the calls that you were previously on. We may not remember those calls, but the audience needs to hear you explain this now, not you did it on a previous call. Well, congratulations. We're working on this call. So talk to us and answer us and stop thinking that you've already answered this because you called in back in March and answered it. We're trying to get to a new point. We don't want to retread the same ground, and we want to make sure that everybody is understanding what's said. Hopefully that makes sense.
And you don't need to give us any preambles about how you're going to keep it simple. Just actually answer the question and do the thing. That's all we need. This can go very easy if we just ask questions and answer.
You're back.
I have a definition of God, and my definition of God meets the evidence that I need to come to my conclusion.
Okay, that's a completely vapid statement. I need to know what your definition of God is and what the evidence is that supports it.
So the definition has 3 parts. Please let me get to all 3 of them.
No. Listen to me, Tom. I will interrupt you at any point where it needs to be, where there's clarity, where something you've said isn't clear. If you make it through all 3 of them and there's no problem of clarity, then we won't interrupt you. But stop telling me how to do my own fucking show, please. Continue.
God is both personal and universal. God can neither be created nor destroyed. God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present. The end.
Okay. So what do you mean by personal and universal? Do you mean that God is a thinking agent and something else?
Yes.
What is the something else?
Well, eternal, universal, the creator of the heavens and the earth, creator of stars, galaxies.
That's still about a person. That's still about a person, an agent doing things. What is the universal thing?
Well, omnipresent, far away from me where I can't see it.
Well, omnipresent.
I know
it's not far away. It's right there with you.
And I'm saying it's a paradox that it's both at the same time. Therefore, supernatural.
I'm not going to accept paradoxes. And even in the sense that you accept paradoxes, you don't then get to conclude it's supernatural. That is a fallacious line of reasoning. Okay. So you basically are saying that God is both what it is and not what it is, and that paradox is supernatural. Well, that's a load of bullshit rationalizations. I care about what's actually true and evidence. And so if God is omnipresent, then God is everywhere, which means he's there and here and not in conflict. That's not a paradox. Omnipresence.
So I appreciate you taking my call. Have a nice day.
Goodbye, Tom. I'm so sorry.
Why? What a waste. If your beliefs can't be questioned, why do you have them? That's so sad. What a sad way to live your life.
We didn't even get to the evidence, because if his definition is that God is personal and universal, and I'm trying to understand what he means by that, and then his definition for universal is all present, which is actually part of his third point. So his first point is God is personal and universal. God can neither be created or destroyed. And God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present. Here's the biggest problem. How can you know that there is a God that is all-knowing? Are you all-knowing? Because if you're not, you cannot, in fact, know that God is all-knowing. So anyone who is claiming that there's evidence that there is a God that is all-knowing is fundamentally irrational. You are basically claiming that you have found the unfindable, that you have falsified the unfalsifiable, that you have the capacity of determining what agent out there is all-knowing. There are billions of people on the planet, and there are probably 4 or 5 that are smarter than me. I mean, 4 or 5 million that are smarter than me. There are tons of people who have way more knowledge about, pick any one subject or all subjects. They have way more knowledge than me. Can I ever be warranted in thinking that they are all-knowing just because they know more than me? Nope. And that means that the notion of all-knowingness is an assertion. It's a presupposition, just like he presupposes God. So you're going to presuppose that there is a God that is personal and universal, even though that doesn't make any sense. You're going to presuppose that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present. And so when you're in that position, you are now making claims that you have the ability to tell whether or not someone is all-knowing or not. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what evidence could convince you that somebody's all-knowing. And yet you ran. So, good luck talking to Forrest.
Eric, do you want to learn how to Mongolian throat sing? Check this out.
No,
you try.
No, keep that shit to yourself. Don't hear it.
Anyway, thanks for watching that clip. Patreon.com/calltheline is where you could support us. And maybe you should subscribe and like the video, because it was a killer video. Or maybe it wasn't. Was it a Forrest video? If this was a Forrest video, you don't have to click like. If it was an Eric video, go ahead and click dislike.